Displacement occurs in different ways and different formats. By far the vast cause of displacement, obviously, is armed conflict.
When you look at Kenya's political environment, we have 63,000 families currently are still displaced from 2007-2008. If people stayed in their homes, then they would have been killed, definitely. Why do we have IDPs? It's because people are running away from violence. They are running away from situations where their families, their children are susceptible to being killed or being maimed.
It is the first international legally binding instrument on internally displaced persons, so it broke ground on that basis.
This is an important treaty for a range of reasons. It addresses all the different aspects of displacement, so preventing displacement situations, responding to displacement crises, and also resolving them. It's important because it strengthens the protections that are available for internally displaced persons in certain key areas. So, for example, the idea of accountability towards displaced populations. The convention actually recognizes that people who are affected by displacement, including IDPs themselves, but also host community members, for example, should have a right to receive some form of redress for what's happened to them.
Vulnerable groups like women and children are most affected in such situations. You have children who are susceptible to extreme weather conditions. You have women who have no access to maternal health care, for instance, and therefore the Kampala Convention will provide the basis in which such situations can be dealt with properly.
It is the anniversary of the Kampala Convention, the first anniversary since it entered into force in December last year. We've seen some important steps taken over the course of the past year. So, for example, 2 new states have actually signed the agreement. That includes South Sudan, which is a country with a major internal displacement situation. And 3 others have actually ratified the convention, which is important because it means that now they're actually legally bound to respect the provisions in the convention.
Right now in Kenya, we have about 63,000 families who are still yet to be resettled back after the violence that happened in 2007-2008. elections.
There are still countries in Africa that have major internal displacement situations, or that could be affected by internal displacement in the future, who haven't taken the important step of signing and ratifying the convention.
It's important for other African countries to ratify the Kampala Convention so that when it comes to protection of IDPs and prevention of IDPs, the actions are not done arbitrarily. For instance, in the case of Kenya, the Kenyan government is accused in a project in which they termed Operation Rudi Nyumbani, where the government was arbitrary in settling back the IDPs, and that's why still we have families right now who have not been resettled.
The Brookings LSE project on internal displacement works to support the human rights of IDPs around the world, and in particular to support the mandate of the UN Special Rapporteur on the human rights of IDPs. So both for the project and for the Special Rapporteur, supporting the implementation of the Kampala Convention is a priority.